So for me, GC has impacted my life mostly because my parents have attended GC a couple months before I had, and GC was actually one of the biggest seeds that were planted in my life to bring me towards knowing Christ. I was way far away from church. My parents would bring home and try to share the message with me, and after seeing about 2 or 3 online services, I started to question some things, and looking back now, I can see that God was slowly starting to work in my life. So for me, GC was one of the biggest reasons that I know Christ now. So before GC, I was raised in church as a child, and I left church about the age of 12 or 13. A couple years before that, I started trying to distance myself, but by 13, I was pretty much out of the church completely. And from 13 to about 22, I was a Satan worshiper, into witchcraft, and is everything anti-God that I could put myself in or around. That was just my entire life, was trying to deny or to agitate believers or anything there was to just live ungodly as I could. And then somehow God got a hold of me and he said, no, it's time. So before that, I was not on the path I should have been on. So coming to know Christ was for me, kind of a rough one. I had gotten married, and it was a really rough start, mostly because of where I was in my life, and my wife was a believer, so were my parents. So just having that around made it pretty hard. And when my wife got pregnant, we were expecting our first child. It was all right. And then a couple months in, I started to question things that I hadn't questioned in years. I started to soften up a little bit. And then I just kept hearing kind of a voice in my head saying, you're gonna know me and you're gonna follow me. And it's gonna be because in the delivery, something's gonna be wrong with your daughter and you're gonna have nobody else to turn to. So for me, I think that at the beginning, I wanted to follow God to save my daughter and to make sure that there was nothing wrong with her. Once I kind of woke up and I listened and said, you know what, I now understand that this is the only way that I can help her or make sure that something doesn't happen, was to follow him. I was in the Ball State parking lot getting ready for a final exam, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try, and I'm gonna listen to the voice in my head, and from there everything turned around, and I wasn't going crazy. It was God speaking to me saying, you were this close, but I've got plans for you. So after accepting Christ and knowing what his love really is, which was a big thing for me, is when I decided to give my life over, it was a struggle of how can I be accepted and why am I even worthy at this point. Since then, it's really been an eye-opener to how his love really is, and the mercy that he bestows on all of us, because we do not deserve it. And the more that I dive in and I try to get connected with our community and to dive deeper into the word and to just really study as much as I can, and to follow as best as I can, the more that I realize that it is just a gift and he always has a plan for us. And I'm really just trying to live more like he wants us to live, which is definitely a struggle, but I'm not gonna give up on it.